Hello, welcome back to part 2 of the Point Blank podcast with Genevieve. If you're new here, I did a part 1 talking about how I came to believe in the supernatural realm, how I tie in certain imagery in my music, and how it's molded and shaped who I am today. So if you're new here, welcome. And on my podcast, I pretty much get straight to the point and am going to with coming content that you need to be an opinionated person to watch my podcast. No point coming here and taking offense. Like, come have a listen. But I think there's really bold imagery in the music industry, and people don't have a problem with that. They only have a problem when you start calling it out. And we want change, but who's the first person to come and do the change? So yeah, on this podcast, I just want to highlight a lot of things, being in the creative industry, my point of view, and how I aim to continue to shape my reality and let others in on that, to show you that it is possible to bring about a greater good in the creative area that you are in without having to sell yourself. But we're just going to get straight to the point today, to be honest, about part 2. So if you haven't watched part 1, please go and do so that this one makes sense. But let's just get straight into it, because the main question where we left off from the first podcast was, first of all, I hope you've had a great week. I hope you've had a great week. Mine's been manic. Planning to go to Berlin real soon. We've been invited because the music video "Who's That Girl" got a badge of honor from Berlin Music Video Awards. So they've invited us out there. So we're going to go out there, network, and we're planning the release of my first debut album, "Don't Throw Your Pearls to the Pigs." I've released a video breaking down the tracks on that as well. So if you want to familiarize yourself with that, with what's coming, what's on the way. And yeah, there's just a lot ahead, to be honest. So yeah, let's get into it. So we left off with the main question from part 1 is, why me? Why did that happen to me? Because I always say to people, I didn't choose this supernatural life. This life chose me. Like, I didn't ask for, prove to me you are real. Prove to me there is more. Like, I never asked for that. This was something that came to me. I just want to check something. Hold up. This is something that came to me. I just set something up. Hold up. So this is something that I never asked for. It just came to me. And obviously it left me with questions. So why me? What is it that's in my life that I have to go through this? And some people don't have supernatural experiences. Okay, so what I didn't mention in part 1 is, so I couldn't open my eyes, but I could feel what was happening. And this spirit was keeping my eyes shut. So I was trying to open it, but I couldn't. But then at the same time, I wonder whether it was God that was protecting me for me to not see what was going on in the room. Interesting. But I saw 2 black figures in my window, and they were holding a person's head that I know. I know this person. And although my eyes were shut, I could see the 2 black spirits on either side of this person's head. At the time, I didn't know what it meant, but I obviously recognized the person in between the 2 demons, if that's what we're going to call it. And as I, start to understand more about all of this, what this meant, maybe is God trying to talk to me, I started to ask him, okay, so why this specific person? And I came to understand, okay, so potentially this person, like people in your bloodline are responsible for why things get carried down. So open doors that people have opened. People are always messing with the occult, or they're making covenants. Like, even if you're a non-believer, your favorite celebrities are making covenants and they talk about it. You make certain covenants and you get to certain places. And it's like, in your bloodline, you might be a non-believer or a believer, but regardless of what you are, there's been people before you and they are responsible for the things that got carried down the bloodline, that never got broken off. And in order to break it off, it's going to take somebody to know how to access this, how to access the spiritual realm and to put a stop to that, so it doesn't carry on down your bloodline. So I felt, as I was talking to God, what I identified as to be God, the higher power that came to save me, because it certainly weren't the demons. And if it's not the demons, it's not going to be Satan, because how's Satan going to save Satan? So that already showed me there's something bigger than Satan, right? So Satan, get out the way. Now what is God trying to tell me? Okay, there's somebody that has an open door and the enemy comes through that door to the further generations, the next generations. And that was me. So now I'm being attacked. Okay, so that's great, because it obviously means there's something in me. That's what I came to understand. There's something great in me. If I was a nobody and if I wasn't important, you wouldn't bother me. So you're coming to try and take something that I have. What's interesting is, so I got into music, so I understood, okay, I've probably been given this gift to make music, to sing, and using my voice. Wouldn't it make sense that this entity tried to take my voice? Tried to take my voice. And this is what I asked myself today is, what if God never stepped in to come and save me? What if I was actually mute today and I lost my voice? Because I've worked with people, they were born with the ability to speak, but then later in their life they lose that ability. And then I've also been around people that were born mute, born without a voice, and somebody comes, like in the church, or a believer, doesn't even have to be in the church, because God's working outside the four walls. Just anywhere where his spirit is, like, he'll set you free, is what I've come to know. So then I've seen people cast out the mute spirit. And if you don't believe in a mute spirit, well, you've got to ask yourself why Jesus spoke to spirits and casted them out. So that's why Jesus's followers does the same thing. They do the same stuff. So I've seen people that were born mute, and then you go and command the mute spirit to come out of them, and it comes out, and now the person can speak. So now it's left me to think, as I got older and I met these individuals, I was like, oh my days, that could have been me. What if God never stepped in and I remained mute, because that's what I was. I was wide awake, wasn't a dream. My voice was taken away. So imagine I was just left in that state. It's an interesting point. So the enemy never did take my voice. The enemy never took my voice. So, okay, I'm trying to keep this basic because I could go on a tangent. So next point. So this is not the only demonic experience that I've had. So throughout college and uni, these encounters are continuing. So I asked myself, so why me? Why is God allowing this? And I came to understand that God was always revealing my opponent to me. And in the same way, you'll never forget a demonic experience. You'll spend your whole life telling everybody about it. They'll think you're crazy. They'll think you're mad. I'm already over that. I know it's real, and there's nothing that anybody could say to tell me that it isn't. Because it's the difference between me and you is you just don't know how real it is. But up until you go through it, you'll sell everything you have. You'll get rid of everything you have just to chase this truth that you've discovered. Because once you know this, everything in our carnal realm manifests from the supernatural realm. And once you have that knowledge, you can never look at people the same. Or, you know, wherever you go in life, your environment will never just be 10 people in a room. You're always seeing angels and demons. This is the life of somebody like me. This is the life of somebody like you. If you've had experiences like this, you understand. So God was always trying to reveal my opponent to me so that I would know what I'm up against. And people might say, well, you're going through these experiences, it's not great, you know, it can lead to PTSD. That's definitely what I feel like I have had. And I'm trying to break it off. I'll do another video talking about, you know, how I sleep in peace now, how I take authority over things. But I just wanted to finish off the story and me coming to understand of why these things are happening. But it's not the full story of how I'm free now. I think that will be part 3 of how I actually became free and how I don't hardly have much of these experiences much anymore. But it's not that it won't or can't happen again. But we go through everything for a reason, right? So God's trying to reveal to me what I'm up against. And so people will say, okay, why does God let you so keep letting that fear play over, or you knowing something's going to get you? Why doesn't he just stop it? I look at it like this. This is a mature mindset. Is the same amount of times that you remember that how fearful it was, you physically felt something, the PTSD of it is the same way you'll always experience God's saving power. So it's the equivalent, except it's greater. Like the enemy can't just mess with you. Where you can take authority, and you'll always see him leave. It will never be a case of you take authority, he stays. You take authority, he stays. So the beauty of God showing you your opponent and letting you go through this is now God can put you on the front line because you know how to fight. So that's what's happened to me, is God has molded me and taught me how to be in a spiritual battle on the front line, and I know how to fight. Not with shouting, not with words, not with cursing, not with cussing you out. Let's bind your demons, because that's what's manifesting through you right now, through the people around you, through your friends, through your family, demonic spirits. So that was it. Like, I see the devil in plain sight now. I already know what could happen when I go to sleep. So in part 3, I'll talk about how I prep. How do I prep my room? How do I prep my mind? How do I prep my house against this? Preparation's key. When you know what you're up against, what's the enemy going to do? All the enemy can do now, all Satan can do right now is watch me prepare an environment for him that he cannot access. Because it's like that Satan is like a deer in headlights now. I've got the headlights on you. And I'm telling you, what are you doing here? You have no authority. So that's why, you know, it's a good thing if you go through something like this, because it means that God's actually trying to use you to speak in this generation for a reason, and the devil's actually trying to shut you down. Because most people are just walking about their 9 to 5. But when God raises up somebody who can see into the spiritual realm, you can break things off of your friends, off of your family, because you've been through these encounters. God's trained you. And you know, that's why you are more useful in the workplace. You are more useful in any situation, because you can see like 3 dimensions. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that is, you know, I got to watch myself with my time. So that was pretty much the basics, guys. I think we need to do a part 3 where I go into depth about about how am I actually free of this stuff right now. So the main point I wanted to make today is that the two black figures that I saw is really God showing me there are two prominent demons coming for me through somebody, and how I needed to intercede either for that person, that their eyes would be open to the doors they've got open, but I could still protect myself from what's coming in through their life, you know? And you need to walk this thing out with integrity. It's not God shows you something and you go and tell everybody what you saw about a person. No, you keep that to yourself and you go to war in the spirit by yourself. This person who I saw, till this day, I've not told them that I've had this encounter, because I'm monitoring things behind closed doors. I'm monitoring, are they okay? How's everything going in their life? And I can see what the enemy's doing in their life, but some people aren't ready for the knowledge that you have. Some people will take offense when you just come at them the way I am right now. So you have to walk this thing out admirably. You have to, before people can know, for example, your supernatural reality, they need to know you first as a physical, carnal person, because that's all they can see is what's standing in front of them. They can't see my spirit, it's in my body, but they can see what you're seeing right now, and that's what they resonate with first. So before they can understand anything else, they need to understand you. And if they're not ready, I won't give them that information, you know? So that's it, guys. So, yeah. Join me next time, part 3. Let's get into it about how I'm free now. I absolutely love sleeping in the dark now. But yeah, there's still some things that I need to do to make sure that, you know, you just got to be on guard. Be on guard. So yeah, guys, I think that's everything. Yeah, that's it. That's it, guys. I hope you, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.